This is the cheapest mechanical keyboard that I could buy at Best Buy. Let's get into it. Quick overview, this is the HP Omen Encoder full-size mechanical keyboard, and it cost me $39.99. Yes, there were cheaper keyboards at Best Buy, but they were membrane boards, and those are just gross. This board comes with MX red switches, has LED backlights, and even shockingly red WASD keycaps, because you might just forget where those keys are in the heat of gaming. In the box, you get the keyboard, some stickers, and some documentation. Kind of disappointed that there is no keycap puller or replacement keycaps at the very least. Physically speaking, the keyboard is actually pretty darn impressive for a budget board. It probably helps that it's a couple of years old at this point, and initially it retailed for $100. Like I said earlier, it has actual Cherry MX switches, the keycaps don't feel terrible, and the overall board feels pretty darn well constructed. It's got a metal top plate covering a plastic case and has some pretty nice structure to it. Even though they are my least favorite color of keycaps, I actually think these look and feel pretty good. I might say the red color WASD keys are kind of hokey, but deep down, I really like how they contrast the rest of the keyboard, and you know what? I think they look pretty sharp. For a store-bought gaming keyboard, I like a lot about this, but there are a few things that I don't like. I don't like that it has a permanently attached cable. Obviously, I'm a much bigger fan of a detachable USB-C cable. I don't like that the switches are not hot swappable, but we'll talk more about that in upgradeability. And the last thing I don't like is how hollow the case sounds and feels. Overall, from a build quality perspective though, I can't really be mad at this for 40 bucks. I've definitely used worse keyboards from big name companies before. When we actually start typing on this keyboard, I think it's not too bad or uncomfortable. I typed this entire script using the encoder, and I didn't hate the experience. We won't dive into sound right now, as we'll cover that in a second, but the keycaps feel great to type on. The board is really well spaced and laid out. The angle of the board when the feet are up is perfect for how I generally end up typing, and it's overall a really decent experience. Also, you don't realize it until you turn it on, but the RGB on this keyboard is for real. Look at how big these darn RGB diodes are. They are so big, in fact, that I'm just going to call them RGB bulbs. Dang. Another thing budget boards sometimes have a problem with is being bright enough for the lights to be seen through the keycaps, but these are very bright and very noticeable. Why have RGB at all if you can't see it? Am I right? However, it's not all perfect, and we do start to have some problems in paradise when it comes to the sound test. The board doesn't sound great, but it's not too terrible either. I really do like MX red switches, and obviously these sound unlubed, plus the stabilizers are definitely not lubed or balanced either, so the entire board has a hollow and very bad stabilizer sounding experience. I wasn't expecting much different, and it does sound way better than that $10 keyboard we tried out a few weeks ago, but if you were looking for the best sound right out of the box without any effort, this clearly isn't the board for you. It's not the worst sounding, but even a little bit of effort from HP Omen would have made it sound so much better. For upgradeability, you can swap out the keycaps pretty easily. In fact, so easily the darn things feel like they are barely hanging on. I didn't even need my keycap puller to remove most of them, just a couple of the red keys and the ones with the stabilizers. Besides that, it was hand removable, which is pretty weird and doesn't bode well for overall longevity. The switches are soldered down and not hot swappable, which does kinda suck, so if you wanted to upgrade this yourself, you are going to need to crack the whole case open and desolder everything, which we will probably do in a future video. All in all, I think this is a reasonably decent buy, but I would not pay over $40 for it. It's built reasonably well, has a full-size keyboard layout, and it doesn't sound great, but it sounds okay. I don't hate this board, even though that might rile up some of the more hardcore keyboard enthusiasts out there. So click subscribe and then click over here to go to my video about that $10 mechanical keyboard. Thanks for watching.